You hit the target. You get the promotion, the raise, the shiny new milestone you've been chasing for years. But instead of relief, you feel empty. You are left with a nagging sense that you still haven't done enough. This phenomenon is a psychological trap called the cult of never enough. It is blind to your income. It traps the underpaid teacher working endless hours of unpaid overtime just as easily as it captures the wealthy entrepreneur who is cash-strapped and awash in debt despite their designer clothes. We start wearing our exhaustion as a mark of status. We pin on busy badges, constantly taking on extra tasks because staying in perpetual motion is easier than sitting quietly with our own uncomfortable feelings. That chronic exhaustion and persistent feeling of inadequacy are not personal failures. They are symptoms of a belief system that measures our value by our output. To break out of this trap, we have to separate our financial lives into two distinct categories: money problems and money worries. Money problems are external and systemic. Wage stagnation, high inflation, and the lack of affordable housing are concrete issues that require mathematical solutions or policy changes. Money worries, however, are an internal, collective aching. As author Manisha Thakur outlines here, these are the feelings that tell us we will never measure up, regardless of how much money we make. If you apply a mathematical solution, like simply working harder to earn more, to an emotional worry, the calculation never settles. That is why the feeling of never enough persists even as your income grows. We get stuck here because we've built our lives around a specific calculation. We have been conditioned to believe that our self-worth is equal to our net worth, a formula that, by its very nature, has no end. This formula is driven by hidden variables. The first is our own small traumas. Childhood experiences, like being routinely ignored by a parent or bullied at school, can teach us to use constant productivity as a protective shield against rejection. We feed that vulnerability into a counterfeit financial culture. Society loops a message that we must earn more so we can buy more in order to finally be more. Finally, we add hustle culture. We glorify overwork, adopting a myth born in the high-pressure trading floors of the 1990s. We are taught to find the meaning of our lives inside a corporate title or a heavy workload. Combine unhealed emotional wounds with a culture demanding constant consumption, and you end up in a cycle of striving we often mistake for ambition. There is a fourth variable keeping us on this treadmill: our biology. Our primitive survival instincts cross wires with modern capitalism, turning our work habits into a clinical addiction. This is the hungry ghost phenomenon. Our brains get wired to link achievement to safety, so we chase success to be happy, rather than being happy to find success. You can short-circuit this hardwiring. You don't need a massive life overhaul. You just need small daily acts to prove to your nervous system that it is safe to slow down. Try spending 15 minutes reading for pleasure, or even meditating before you check a single email in the morning. This sends a cue to your brain that fun is allowed before the shoulds take over. Understanding your biology removes the shame of workaholism. It proves that your brain is simply trying to protect you, and that you have the power to consciously choose a different pace. We cannot fix a broken formula by plugging in different numbers. We have to throw the old math out and adopt a new aim. The new equation looks like this: financial health plus emotional wealth equals money zen. In this framework, money is no longer a protective wall to hide behind. Money is simply a car with no gas. It's a tool, but it cannot move on its own. Emotional wealth is the fuel. Your curiosity, your human connections, your compassion, and your creative pursuits, these are what actually make the car move toward a meaningful life. True freedom is not found in an arbitrarily high net worth. It is a state where your money serves your emotional well-being rather than dictating it. Reaching this balance requires fighting against our own nature. Researchers have found that when we face a problem, we automatically default to additive solutions. We try to earn more or do more to fix our unhappiness. The secret to finding your enough is often subtraction. Instead of adding to your life, you look for what can be removed. You can start today. Delete one distracting app, cancel a subscription you haven't used in months, or let go of a guilt-driven obligation that drains your energy. There is a story about a curry maker who refused to expand his business because he was already happy sleeping in his hammock. We can choose to be what we love today, rather than believing happiness only exists in doing. Major transformations are rarely linear. But by shifting your focus to this sustainable balance, you can begin to move away from the pressure of never enough and reclaim your time for the things that actually bring you joy.